All right, in this video we're going to show you how to do wall layout 1. So wall layout, the first, you may want to get a paper in order to be able to follow along. These are in the green cabinet over there with the green drawers. But if you get a paper, it'll help you understand as you follow along, because you may not be able to see the paper from up there. But right here we have a door, all right? Right here we have a window. And then we got, down here we got an exterior wall, meaning I'm gonna have a corner here. Right here I've got an interior wall, meaning I'm gonna have a T-post, all right? My dimensions to my window are laid out to the center, and then my dimensions of the door, same thing, are laid out to the center. And my board overall is 12 foot long. So I've got a 12 foot long board. You can't see the ends, so I'm gonna slide just a little bit. I'm gonna start out on this end here. All right, then I'll slide it to the other end. But the first thing that we're gonna wanna do, all right, is I'm gonna mark my corner. My corner is a stud blocking, and by blocking, we just mean a board like this. Okay, so we got a stud, blocking, stud. And you put like 3 blockings in there. So my stud is 1.5 inches, so I'm gonna put a mark at 1.5 inches. Put me an X. Another 1.5 inches for my blocking, which is 3, so 1.5 plus 1.5 is 3. I just leave that blank, and then I go another 1.5 inches, which is at 4.5. I put me an X. So I got an X, blank, X. And that tells me that there's a corner there. And that's meeting up with my exterior wall here. Okay, so we got a corner, we got a stud, blocking, stud. The next thing I'm gonna lay out is my window. My window opening is a 26/30. We don't need the 30. You can just scratch out the 30, all right? And we split 2 and 6, that's 2 foot, 6 inches. That is 30 inches. Well, it gives it to me to the center of the window, all right? So I need to know what half of my window is this way and half of my window is that way. So 30 divided by 2 is 15, okay? So half of my window is 15 if my window is 30 overall. If I find the center of my window, which is 2 foot 11 inches, 2 foot is 24 inches, plus 11 is 35 inches. So I'm gonna go to here at 35, I'm gonna put a mark, and right there I'm gonna put a CL. That tells me that's the center line of my window. CL is center line of my window. From 35, I'm gonna go back 15, and then I go forward 15. So from 35 minus 15 is 20. I'm gonna put a mark at 20. My jack stud goes on the other side of my window. So here's, my window starts here and is here. My jack stud is on this side. So 20 minus 1.5 inches is 18.5. I'm gonna put a J for a jack. Then I got a king right beside of that. So 18.5 minus 1.5 is 17. So I got a jack and then a king. Then I go back to my center line, I add 15. 35 plus 15 is 50. I'm going to put a mark at 50. That is the edge of my window. So my window is from here to here. All right. My jack king is going to go on this side. 50 plus 1.5 inches is 51.5. That's a jack. Plus another 1.5 inches is 53. That's a king. So I've laid out one opening, jack king. I like to do my openings first. I'm going to slide my board this way. All right. So now I got to do my door. All right, my door, kind of the same principle as my window. Scratch out 68. That's the height. You don't need the height. We just need the width. All right, that's 3 feet, 0 inches. All right, 30 is 3 feet, 0 inches, which is 36 inches. Half of 36 is 18 inches. All right, half of 36 is 18 inches. I'm gonna find the center line of my window, which is 3 feet, 2 inches. 3 feet 2 is 38 inches. So right here is 38. I'll put a mark at 38. I'm also gonna put a CL. All right, that tells me the center line of my door. Center line of my door. Now, I'm gonna go back 18. I'm gonna go forward 18. Now this one works out really well because 38 minus 18. Same thing we had down there, which is 20. I'll put me a mark at 20. I'm gonna go back another 1.5 inches to 18.5, which is my jack stud. Back another 1.5 inches to 17, which is my king stud. 38 plus 18. So 38 plus 18 I'm hoping somebody ain't coming in my door. 38 plus 18 is 56. I'll put a mark at 56. All right, that's the edge of my door, plus another 1.5 inches is 57.5, plus 1.5 inches is 59. So that's a jack, that's a king. All right, so jack, king, jack, king. That's the edges of my door. The next thing I want to do is my T-post. My T-post is going to go where my interior wall's at. I'll slide that this way. To the edge of my T-post is 5 feet 0 inches. So I'm going to mark from this edge. I'm going to measure from this edge because that's where my corner's at, and that is 60 inches. My T-post is a stud, which is 1.5 inches. I'm going to put an X. Plus a stud turned sideways. A stud turned sideways is 3.5. Okay, so we go 61.5, 62.5, 63. So that's 1, 2, 3.5 is 65. And I'm going to write T post. And then I'm going to go another 1.5 inches for my stud on the other side. So I got a stud, which is 1.5 inches, 3.5, and then 1.5 inches. Once I get my T-post laid out, all I gotta do is lay out my studs. I'm gonna work this way just because this is where my corner's at. All right, so I'm gonna find 16. I'm gonna go back 3/4. I should have showed you how to do this already. I'm gonna put an X on my 16 side. I'm gonna find 32. Go back 3/4 to 31.25. This one becomes a cripple because it's inside of my window. Here's my window. If it's between your jack studs, it becomes a cripple. 48. Oh. Hey, sorry, I'm filming. You're good, you're good, you're good, you're good. I'm just trying to keep them out.
I'm sorry, y'all.
You're good. So 48 minus 3/4 is gonna be 47.25, and we're gonna put a cripple stud there. So we got cripple stud, right here, T-post. Now my stud falls in the middle of my T-post. If my stud falls on a T-post, I've already got a stud there. I don't need a stud there, all right? So we just skip that one. We find 80. We go back to 79.25. I put an X. The reason I put an X is because I'm not between my jack studs. My jack studs are down there, my jack studs are up here. We go to 96. 96 minus 3/4 is 95.25. This actually is a cripple stud. Just about put that wrong because it's between my jack and my jack. We go to 112. We go back 111.25. Put a cripple stud again because it's inside of my door. And then down here, this one's a little tricky. So 128 winds up right beside of my king, okay? On the edge of my king. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put a stud right beside of that. So I'm gonna have a jack, a king, and a stud, all right? That way, if for some crazy reason my sheet material does happen to break right here, I'll have a stud. Doubtful that it would, but you would rather be safe than sorry. Then down here at the end, my wall from the picture keeps going. You can tell that it keeps going. So if my wall keeps going, I'm just gonna come back 3/4 of an inch. All right, and then I'm gonna put my X there. And all you have to do from that point is get your speed square and mark your lines all the way across. And you should be done. I'm not going to take the time to do every single one of these because I feel like the layout part is the hard part. Marking the lines is something all of you can do for the most part. So I have instructions down here. Number 1, lay out your corner. Number 2, lay out the center of your window. Number 3, lay out the door. All right. Number 4, lay out the edges of your T-post. And number 5, lay out your common studs. And anytime a common stud falls between a window or door, it turns into a cripple stud.